All right, so in the last video, we talked about debit versus credit. And remember, we talked about credit cards is money that is borrowed from the bank, and we have to pay it back either in full by the end of the month, or if you make monthly payments, remember, interest is going to occur. So they're going to charge you more money than what you actually borrow. With that being said, comes a credit report. It's kind of like your report card, except this report card tells people how good you are at borrowing money and actually paying it back. So first of all, let's talk about what credit history is. It says what money you have borrowed. Borrowed is the key word here. In the past, and how well you did at paying it back. Remember, it's like your report card. This person borrowed this much. Did they pay it back? And paying it back on time is really important as well. Let's look at some things that create a good credit history. So it says you've borrowed money and you have paid it back. That's very important. You have to pay it back. You made your payments on time. Payments have to be on time. If you make a payment late, it counts against you. You didn't borrow more money than you could repay. Be careful not to borrow too much because you can only borrow what you can pay back. So that's really important, okay? Now let's talk about some things that create a bad credit history. Is when you borrow money but you didn't pay it back, okay? You didn't make your payments on time, which means they might have been late. Or you borrowed more than you could repay. Okay, just because you have, $8,000 to spend doesn't mean you go spend the full $8,000 if you know you can't pay it back. So just be mindful of that and careful with that. Okay, so now let's look at the definition of a credit report. A credit report is like a report card, like I've said before. It is a summary of your financial history. Your credit history is calculated into a credit score. Now, what we mean by financial history, and this happens more when you get older, is are you getting that credit card? Are you making the monthly payments? Financial history could also go towards if you buy a house. Are you making the monthly payments on the house? If you buy a car, are you making the monthly payments on the car? All those type of things mean financial history, okay? And there are different types of credit scores. You could have a bad credit score, which is usually indicated by the numbers 300 to 629 is considered bad. It says if you have a bad credit score, banks will not give you a car loan or a house loan, which is also known as a mortgage. No one will loan you money. You're going to have a really hard time getting one to loan you money. And when they do, they're going to charge you really, really high interest rates because they want to make sure that they can get as much money from you as possible. A fair credit score is between 630 and 689. That means you might have some things that you've paid back and some things that you might have made late payments on or not have paid back. So that would put you in the fair. A good credit score is from 690 to 719. That means most have been paid back. You might have had maybe a couple late here and there, or you might have just open credit, period. And then excellent credit is between 720 and 850. If you have an excellent credit score, you will get the best deals on your loans and house loans or mortgages. You'll get lower interest rates than someone who has a poor credit score.